Steve Arnold reads a charred hillside the way a treasure hunter reads a map. As a Los Angeles County arson investigator, X marks the spot where the fire first began to burn. And to the trained eye, those clues are everywhere.
I'm gonna look and see if they're pointing anywhere. Every single thing that's burnt leaves traces from where it's coming from. Some are more, some are less.
In 2005, 58,430 fires were caused by humans across the United States, either intentionally or through negligence. Combined, those fires burned over 1.5 million acres of land. On the afternoon of August 14, 2006, Arnold responded to one such blaze on this hillside in Glendora, California.
We were watching it move towards us, and I saw this rock about halfway, and I thought, okay, if it reaches that rock, I'll just tell the kids to go. So I turned, we're watching it kind of dies down, then flare up, and it hit the chaparral that was really dry, and it just went whoosh! And so I turned to my son, and I said, Daniel, get the kids in the van and go. And then I turned back around, and it had come so fast. And so we took off. I said, okay, we're all leaving. And we ran to the back porch. And by the time we got there, it was like this 50-foot wall of flame, almost to the back wall.
By the time Arnold arrived on scene, the firefighters had already contained the fire and kept it from actually damaging any of the homes in the area. It was now up to him to figure out where and how the fire began.
So I started here, I went down and worked counterclockwise all the way around the fire till I came back to this point.
Along the way, he looked at the rocks, the trees, and the wind direction because each of these things give away clues telling him which direction the fire came from.
As the fire gets hot, it draws the air towards it, which makes the leaves go towards it, and then as they get crispy, they don't flex back. So the leaves will point to the direction of the fire. Now that's just one piece. Now we have to look at the rocks, and we have to look at the burn patterns around the trees.
At the top of the hill, we inspect the darkened rocks for more information on the fire's path.
You don't see any charring or smoke up here, but as on the edges and on the bottom, you can see where the fire came around. Everything we look at, they all eventually have to point to an area. This rock is pointing that way. We go over to the rocks over here. We got to make sure which way they're pointing. They may be pointing to the left. But if they're generally pointing downhill, then that means it tells us the fire is downhill.
We work our way off the top of the ridge, and as we go, the fire markings on the rocks and trees are still suggesting the fire came up from the bottom of the hill. But from where exactly down there, we're still not sure. So we walk to the northern edge of the burn area right here in the flat down below the rock embankment. Arnold again allows the fire to tell him where to look.
The base of it's completely gone on that side. Now it's been broken down and knocked down, but this side here is still attached. But see, on that side, it's burnt right through. These few things point south. Okay, let's walk the power lines.
Power lines run along the east side of the field, and they often cause brush fires. One of these poles in particular is extremely charred. Could this have started the blaze?
If the fire started here at this pole, the fire should get less and less and less, and all the trees on this side should only be burnt on the north side.
50 feet to the south, we find some solid evidence that the utility pole was not the source of the fire.
The north side is all green and peeling. As you come around now, we're starting to see some heat and some fire damage at the top. So again, that shows to me that I can eliminate the power pole with another piece of evidence showing that the fire is on this side of this pole.
We continue to walk the field, eventually stopping in the southeastern corner. At this point, we've walked a complete circle around the fire.
The area we're in, and I would say a 20-foot radius, is the area that I would start looking closer for things that might cause the fire. And because if I can take a fire here, I can run it in the light grass up the hill to cause all that up there. I can run it all the way north, hit the heavy burn up there, and cause the pole to burn. I can even miss the green trees right here if it comes out of the grass here and it's moving across the grass, because it's going to go uphill and with the wind. And so it could go up here and then the wind, as the wind shifts and heads north up the canyon, it's going to drive it back up the canyon.
Eyewitnesses said that they saw a man in the area about the time the fire began. While Arnold was examining the fire scene, police picked up a suspect and brought him by to be interviewed.
During the course of the interview, he mentioned that he was sorry. And I asked him, sorry for what? And he says, oh, I'm sorry for starting the fire. He came over and stood right next to the pole here, said, I took the toilet paper from Walmart and I started it right here and I dropped it in the grass, and then the fire started going that direction. Had he taken me to up where the trees are, I would have said, nah, I don't think so. He just wants to have a minute of fame and say he started the fire. He was able to bring me within 20 feet of where I thought the fire started before I even talked to him. No one told him where the fire was. The only person that knew where the fire started is the person who started the fire.
According to Arnold, this fire could have easily burned out of control. It could have become a blaze that would have taken days to put out. Only the ridgeline of rocks in the middle of the hill and the vigorous response of the LA Fire Department stopped that from happening. The man who started the fire subsequently admitted to setting 2 other fires in the area and is now serving jail time. For Discovery News, I'm James Williams.